Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kent and the channel is Bitcoin Believer San Diego. It's been a while since I've made a video, but it's hard to make videos when the market's going down all the time. But I want to talk about something that's going on in the United States, actually going around the world. And it's about the United States defaulting on their debt, going bankrupt basically. So I like to watch the nightly news, kind of like I like to go to McDonald's and look at the menu. Not that I would never eat the food, but going to McDonald's and just look at the menu, maybe look in the carbohydrates, seeing the other people in the restaurant. That's all I'm going to do. I'm never going to eat their food, but I'll certainly go there and check it out just to see what it's all about. But that's the way I'm with the nightly news. I'm not going to believe the nightly news, but I like to see what they're talking about. So I watch, I think it's, what do I watch? I watch Lester Holt, whoever he's with. But anyway, they're talking about the debt crisis, the U.S. debt crisis. So the United States can't pay their debt anymore, and they have to raise the debt ceiling, the debt limit, so they can borrow more money. And this has been going on for a long time. There's been a number of times I remember them doing this. And they argue about it. You know, the Congress has to debate it, and of course there's all kinds of back and forth with this stuff, whether we're going to raise it, not raise it. And of course I got to keep you in suspense. Biden's on his tour around the United States, around the world, and he's got to cut some of his trips short. Can't go to Papua New Guinea and some other places because they've got this debt crisis going on in the United States. Of course, they got to make it really interesting on the news because you got showing people in the factory floors working as hard as they can work, and you know, they might lose their job if the debt ceiling doesn't get raised, and you know, you got all this drama going on, you know, and like I say, I like to watch it because, like I say, money's not about paper, and it's not about gold, it's not about any of those things, it's about psychology. And the psychology of what they feed the masses is that this is a big deal. You know, we're struggling with raising the debt ceiling, and we're going through a lot of back and forth before we do this debt ceiling raising. But you know they're going to do it. The United States isn't going to default on their debt. They're just going to go ahead and raise the debt ceiling again, and they're going to borrow another few $1 trillion, and they're going to keep operating. So we know the outcome, but they want to make it interesting for us. They want to make it sound like, you know, this is in jeopardy, that there could possibly be something going on here that we should be worried about. You know, people might be losing their jobs. But we know all along they're going to keep raising the debt because they're not going to default on their obligations, especially what they owe senior citizens and what they owe, you know, people that have other checks coming from the government, you know, people that work for the government, all these people, you know, they're not going to put that. They're not going to go. That's not going to go away just because they can't, because they decide that they've set a spending limit and they can't. They got to break it. Now they got to break the spending limit they set for themselves sometime in the past. So while this is all going on, I'm watching Bitcoin go down, and I look at Bitcoin a little bit like I look at processed food versus real food. Processed food is the U.S. dollar. The processed food is like going to McDonald's. Processed food, that's the US dollar. That doesn't satisfy you. It doesn't satiate you. It doesn't make you filled up. It doesn't make you run for very long. It's maybe a short-term fix. You know, maybe you get a little sugar high by drinking a soda, Coca-Cola, or something like that, but it doesn't last very long. You know, it's empty calories, and it makes you fat, raises your blood pressure, makes you feel crummy. You got to cut that stuff out of your diet. Well, that's kind of the way what they're doing with the U.S. debt. You know, it's like a quick fix. Let's raise it. You know, let's go up another few $1 trillion and we'll get the quick fix, but it's not going to last very long. And eventually it makes you fat, it makes you hungry, it raises your blood pressure, and you don't feel very good. And that's the way our debt is. It keeps going up and up and up, and it's not doing anything to benefit us. It's kind of like a bum steer. You know, it's not working. This is not working. Versus Bitcoin. That's like the real food. Bitcoin is like eating the non-processed food, because Bitcoin has a fixed number of Bitcoin to be mined. It's set in its protocol. It can't be raised. It has a certain amount of mining rewards it's going to be that keep going down. So as the U.S. dollar becomes infinitely increased, we don't know how much they're going to increase. They can increase it forever. Versus Bitcoin, which has parameters around what it can be and what it is, and it's not going to change. You know, that's the way it is. That's the way it's written. That's the way it's coded. It's strict money. It's money that's limited, can't be raised, and it can't be inflated. It is what it is. Like I say, as time goes on, the rewards for the mining rewards go down. There's a limited number of Bitcoin, 21 million, and all that stuff's pretty fixed, unlike the US dollar. So I compare the US dollar to eating fast food versus Bitcoin eating whole food. Not that I like Whole Foods, because that place is very expensive, but you can get food at Whole Foods that will fill you up and not make you fat and not make your blood pressure go up. I'm a living example of that. Eating the wrong foods can certainly wreck your health. I've had to suffer through that for a number of years. As if you've seen this video, I have a couple of videos about some of my trips to the hospital. So, I feel this firsthand. I know what it's all about from the food aspect. So, and there's plenty of good information on the internet about food if you're into food. So the same thing with money. There's a lot of good information about money. So Bitcoin is like real food. The US dollar is like junk food. It's going to get you by for a little bit, but it's not going to give you that long-term stability that people want to live on. The other thing that's going on today as I continue to watch the news is housing prices are going up. So, a year ago, everybody was saying the mortgage rates are going to go up, but housing prices are going to go down if that's the case. That's so. What's happened is housing prices continue to go up. And the reason the housing prices continue to go up because people aren't always, non-understanding of what's going on with our money. So they're looking for places to keep up with the inflation. What they're about ready to do now, raise the debt ceiling, raise the debt limit. So everybody wants to buy a home. So, most people can't afford a home, especially in the area we live today. So what they do is they buy the less expensive homes, the $300,000 to $400,000 homes, of which in Southern California are very few. In the news, they were talking about Las Vegas. You could still buy $300,000 to $400,000 homes in Las Vegas. Those homes, they have a steady stream of people looking at. If you get up in the $700,000 to $800,000 range, almost nobody's looking at those homes because they can't afford them. So people are looking for a way to get out of this debt cycle that they're in with the money, money becoming less and less valuable every day, and then Congress raising debt ceilings and acting like it's they're arguing over it, and then we're going to fix this time, we're going to get the spending limit in place, and it's going to be real, but no, it never is. And so they're looking for alternatives, and one of them is to buy a home. Everybody needs a home to live in, so to buy a home. So those housing prices keep going up, but they're already up so high that nobody can afford it. That's the problem. But this is what people are doing to try to escape what they're faced with, which is diminished value of their money. And this is where people are going. But can't afford a home, you can afford a Bitcoin. So that's my alternative. Hey, who wants to go out and buy $1 million home and pay the interest and the mortgage and all the other stuff on that stuff, and then try to, hope that it continues to increase in value and it doesn't just disintegrate because the prices have gotten so high nobody can afford them. So why not buy a Bitcoin? During this whole time that this is going on, Bitcoin has been going down. So as I've watched all this happen, Bitcoin has continued to go down in price. So Bitcoin, real money, hard money, like real food, is going down. Why the fast food, the McDonald's, the Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Colas, all those things, they're going up because the money keeps increasing. The money keeps increasing, so that's going up. But the real food, the real money, is going down. So buy Bitcoin. Don't worry about buying $1 million home. Don't worry about putting money into savings, which almost nobody does anymore. Just start investing in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. And of course, if you really want to get a little bit crazy, try buying some EOS. I mean, I know that's really inexpensive right now. I think like 88 cents. I was on the call the other day, the Wednesday call on Discord, and they're getting ready to have Pomelo number 6 coming up here in a week or two. So there's going to be a lot of grant money given out, a lot of people building, and you know what? This would be a great time to be involved. I know it's not a quick return. Got someone on a bike making some loud noises. Man, that bike is loud. But yeah, here we go. get on board with EOS at 88 cents and see where that goes. See where the ENF takes us. I mean, they got a lot of things on the table, a lot of projects going on, a lot of things happening. You know, one of them turns out it's a home run. That's all we need. We need one thing to go viral on the EOS blockchain, and that's the home run. So, like I say, keep an eye on this stuff. It's just all theater. They're going to convince you that everything's okay, that eventually they're going to come to it. They're going to strike a deal at the last moment. I mean, they're going to wait till the last minute on this thing to strike a deal and raise the debt ceiling, but they will. And it'll come, just like this train's about ready to come into my video. So I'm going to let you go. Thanks. Appreciate you watching.